GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good evening, I'm Rosalind Carney. Tonight's top story: rainfall totals exceed 6 inches in parts of Chicago, and the Air and Water Show has been delayed until noon because of clouds. Expect mostly dry Sunday skies with isolated showers, and traffic stays heavy from several incidents. Over to you, Miles.
The Chicago Public Library's 57th Street branch will host a free family story time this Sunday morning, beginning at 9 a.m., featuring local authors and a puppet show.
Kids and parents can gather at the library's community room, where volunteers will read aloud picture books, followed by a hands-on craft activity for all ages.
The Storytime event is free, open to anyone, and the library will also provide complimentary snacks and a small giveaway for the first 50 families arriving.
With Storytime promising books, puppets, crafts, and snacks for the community, and a cheerful start to the day, lots to get to, let's begin. Here are our top stories. National Weather Service data shows more than 6 inches of rain fell across parts of the Chicago area, including southern neighborhoods and northwest Indiana, during the August 9 to 16 week of persistent showers. Grady Sokolowski has the full story.
Rain fell nonstop from Monday through Sunday, and the National Weather Service just released its weekly totals. In several spots south of the city, measurements topped 6 inches, while a swath of northwest Indiana recorded similar depths. The data cover the period from August 9th through August 16th, showing how the persistent showers soaked neighborhoods, parks, and roadways alike. Officials say the totals reflect a stretch of steady rain that left puddles on Lake Shore Drive and flooded low-lying yards in the south suburbs. Commuters reported slower traffic on Interstate 90 as water pooled on the pavement. The agency's report will help calibrate flood warnings and future forecasts across the region. Grady Sokolowski, GMNA News, South Side.
Police arrested 16 teenagers late Friday night after responding to a trespassing call at the vacant Congress Theater on the 2100 block of North Milwaukee Avenue. Officers arrived at approximately 8:15 p.m. and found a group of youths ranging in age from 13 to 19 inside the shuttered building. All were taken into custody and charged with a misdemeanor count of trespassing. The operation follows an illegal rave that was busted at the same venue nearly a week earlier, prompting heightened police attention. The teenagers will be processed through the Cook County juvenile system, and the case underscores ongoing concerns about unsupervised gatherings in abandoned structures across the city. No injuries were reported, and the theater remains closed pending future redevelopment plans. Police spokesperson said the arrests were necessary to enforce city ordinances and protect public safety.
The Chicago Air and Water Show's closing day has been pushed back to start at 12 p.m. today after the Department of Cultural Affairs and Special Events warned that low-lying clouds made an earlier launch unsafe. Organizers said the aerial and marine program will now run through at least 5 p.m., giving spectators a 5-hour window to watch the jets, helicopters, and watercraft displays over the lakefront. The delay follows a string of cloudy mornings that have hampered flight operations in recent weeks. Fans who arrived early are being asked to remain near the shoreline and keep an eye on the official schedule posted at the Grant Park information booths. The show, a staple of Chicago's summer calendar, typically begins earlier on its final Sunday, but safety concerns have forced the shift.
Police responded to a shooting in the 1400 block of West 65th Street, Inglewood, around 1:01 a.m., leaving one man dead and another seriously injured. Imani Whitfield has the full story.
At about 1:01 a.m. on the 1400 block of West 65th Street, police say a light-colored sedan sped away after gunfire erupted. Officers found a 30-year-old man lying on the sidewalk, pronounced dead at the scene, and a 32-year-old man with serious injuries being taken to a nearby hospital. Detectives are still searching for the shooter, who fled the area in the sedan. This is the latest incident in Inglewood, a neighborhood that has seen multiple shootings in recent months. Police are reviewing surveillance footage and have asked anyone with information to come forward. Emergency lights cast flashing glints on the brick facades while medics tended to the injured man. Residents stood, watching detectives tape off the block and begin a canvass for witnesses. Imani Whitfield, GMNA News, Inglewood.
Authorities responded Saturday afternoon to a shooting on the 8000 block of South Ingleside Avenue in Chicago's Chatham neighborhood. At approximately 1:47 p.m. on August 15, a 31-year-old man was struck by gunfire while walking on the sidewalk. He was rushed to the University of Chicago Hospital, where physicians listed him in critical condition. Chicago police have classified the incident as a homicide and opened a formal investigation. The shooter remains unidentified and no arrests have been made. Detectives are reviewing surveillance video, canvassing the area, and interviewing witnesses. The department's homicide unit is coordinating the effort, and investigators continue to seek information from the public. The case remains active as police work to determine motive and locate the suspect. The Chicago Police Department is working with city resources to secure the scene and gather evidence. The investigation remains ongoing as authorities follow leads. We'll check on the 7 storm-related deaths reported in Indiana as the Chicago area recovers. More after this break. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. Earlier today, Chicago Police Department investigators confirmed a fatal shooting outside a well-known West Side hot dog stand. Officers responded to reports of gunfire near the popular vendor on the near West Side, finding a woman with multiple gunshot wounds. She was pronounced dead at the scene, bringing the city's recent tally of violent incidents to 1 fatality on this date. Detectives have secured surveillance footage and are canvassing the surrounding area for witnesses. Police have not released a motive or identified a suspect, but say they are following leads that could point to a dispute that escalated in the crowded street. No arrests have been made, and the hot dog stand remains temporarily closed while investigators process the scene. The incident adds to ongoing concerns about safety in the West Side's bustling commercial corridors.
Severe storms and flooding this week claimed 7 lives in Indiana while power crews continue restoring electricity across the Chicago area. Grady Sokolowski has the full story.
Severe storms ripped through the Chicago region and neighboring Indiana this week, leaving a trail of damage and loss. In Indiana, officials have confirmed 7 storm-related deaths, each linked to flash flooding and high winds that swept across rural roadways and small towns. Across the Chicago area, crews are still repairing thousands of downed power lines, restoring electricity to neighborhoods that have been in the dark for days. Floodwaters have receded in many low-lying districts, but standing water remains in several streets, slowing cleanup efforts. Emergency responders continue to assess structural damage while residents grapple with disrupted services and the aftermath of the week's extreme weather. Grady Sokolowski, GMNA News, Chicago.
An NBC5 storm team says the rain-spattered stretch that has lingered over the city is finally on the retreat. Their latest outlook shows the storm system turning east, leaving the Chicago area with mostly dry conditions and a chance for sunshine this afternoon. Only isolated showers are expected to pop up across the south and southwest neighborhoods as the day rolls on, but they should be brief and scattered. After several days of heavy rain and powerful thunderstorms, the shift promises a break in the wet pattern that has kept streets slick and parks soggy. Temperatures are set to climb into the mid-70s with a light breeze off Lake Michigan, offering a more comfortable feel for those heading out to the lakefront or evening patios. Residents can look forward to clearer skies for evening jogs and outdoor concerts around the city.
Tomorrow, Monday, the National Weather Service predicts a clear break in the persistent summer showers that have marked the city's weather this season. Highs will climb into the mid-70s with humidity easing as skies remain largely cloud-free through the afternoon. Residents can expect a brief respite from rain, allowing outdoor plans to proceed without interruption. However, the forecast turns sharply on Tuesday when another round of precipitation is set to move in across the metro area. The service anticipates scattered showers beginning early in the day, with potential for brief thunderstorms later afternoon. Temperatures are expected to dip slightly into the low 70s as rain returns. The pattern reflects the typical midsummer swing that Chicago often sees, bringing a quick dry spell before the next wet spell resumes. Commuters should keep an eye on road conditions, and organizers of outdoor events may need to revise their plans accordingly.
Mayor Brandon Johnson is urging housing advocates as Chicago City Council prepares to vote on his tenants' rights ordinance, while council members propose an alternative bill. Delia Vasquez has the full story.
Mayor Brandon Johnson gathers housing advocates outside City Hall as the council readies to cast votes on two competing tenant rights proposals. The mayor's ordinance would tighten eviction limits, require longer notice periods, and expand legal counsel access for renters. Opposing council members have introduced an alternative bill that takes a more limited approach, focusing on rent control exemptions and streamlined dispute processes. Both measures are slated for a final vote later this week, with council members expected to debate the scope of protections versus market flexibility. Organizers on the ground say the mayor's plan aims to give renters stronger safeguards against displacement, while opponents warn of potential impacts on housing supply. Delia Vasquez, GMNA News, Chicago.
Let's get a look at your evening forecast with our meteorologist coming up next.
A tightening ridge and a westward jet are capping tonight, keeping heat at bay while clouds drift in. On this date, Chicago's all-time high of 87 degrees was logged in 2025 during a lingering late summer heat wave that pushed the entire Midwest above 90. The record low of 56 degrees fell in 2021 when an Arctic blast slipped through the Great Lakes, dumping temperatures into the mid-50s for a brief spell. By contrast, the climatological normals for August 16th sit around an 80-degree high and a 65-degree low, making today's near 80 temperature comfortably typical. That swing highlights how a single ridge can drive extremes within a few years. The live radar shows a band of mid-level moisture sliding eastward across northern Indiana, just north of the city. It's moving at roughly 10 knots, guided by the westward jet that tops 500 miles aloft. The first echoes will tap Chicago around 10 o'clock tonight, intensify for the next half hour, then drift eastward and clear by midnight. No rain reaches us yet. At 6 p.m., the downtown thermometer reads 84 degrees, feeling like 90 as humid air clings to the surface. A modest westerly breeze, gusting to 16 miles per hour, brushes the lakefront while skies stay mostly clear with a thin cloud veil. Pressure is near average and beginning to rise, sealing in a layer of dry, stable air that will suppress any thunderstorm development this evening. Meanwhile, the jet stream rides aloft at 38 miles per hour from the west, steering any lingering moisture eastward. Tonight's low will dip to 66, then sunrise will bring a gentle climb to 86 by midday under a UV index of 7. Winds remain light, below 16, and no alerts are in effect. With conditions set, let's look at the 5-day trend. Monday opens under a high-pressure ridge, delivering clear skies and a comfortable high of 73 with a low of 64. Tuesday's flow shifts slightly southward, pulling a thin cloud deck that brings a 30% chance of rain. Temperatures climb to 79 before slipping back to 64 at night. Wednesday remains overcast, the lingering moisture keeping daytime highs at 75 and a surprisingly mild low of 70, a narrow swing that hints at a lingering marine layer. Thursday clears again as the ridge reasserts itself, offering another pleasant stretch of 75 degrees high and 72 low. Friday caps the workweek with clear skies, a high of 77 and a low of 68, giving the city a dry, moderate finish to the week. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunset is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.
Coming up, we'll break down traffic, celebrate the original Rainbow Cone's 100-year anniversary, and preview the White Sox matchup. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes, the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
A dump truck rollover on I-55 near County Line Road in Burr Ridge has shut both directions of the interstate and forced a detour onto I-355. Expect a 5-minute travel delay on I-55 and a longer backup on I-355 as crews clear the scene. In Bedford Park, a truck plunged off the Cicero Avenue Bridge, killing 4 teens. The bridge is closed and traffic is rerouted onto Cicero Avenue east of the overpass, adding roughly 10 minutes for commuters heading downtown. Over in Bridgeport, a crash on the Stevenson Expressway near Wentworth Avenue left 1 person dead and another injured. The expressway remains open, but lane reductions are in place, slowing traffic through that corridor. All other major arteries, including Lakeshore Drive, the Dan Ryan and the Kennedy, are moving freely, so you can stay on your usual routes. On the CTA, Route 49B is running a temporary detour along Northwestern Avenue, and Route 155 is diverted onto Devon Avenue east of 87th Street. Adjust your timing if you're heading that way.
Chicago's sky is alive today as the air and water show splashes over the lakefront, with pilots looping and jets roaring for crowds from Navy Pier to Montrose Beach. If you're planning ahead, the city's literary scene will turn dark on September 18th when Chicago Story Fest presents Villains at the Athenaeum Center, a one-night dive into the city's grittier narratives. Music lovers should mark their calendars for the Sound and Gravity Festival, rolling from September 3rd through 6th across venues from the Athenaeum Center to Rockwell on the River, promising experimental sets and immersive installations. And don't miss the Chicago House Music Festival and Conference, kicking off on August 27 and running through August 30th at the Cultural Center, Millennium Park, and other spots, where legends and newcomers will spin the beats that defined a generation. Whether you're watching planes, reading Villains, or dancing to house, the city's calendar is humming with reasons to get out. And now here's Theo with sports.
Chicago's summer sports slate heats up with pivotal moments across baseball and more. The White Sox, at 64-58, traveled to Detroit to complete a road sweep against the Tigers squad 5.5 games back after trading Tarek Skubal and Casey Mize. Sean Burke, with a sub-3 era, takes the mound, and a win could ease Detroit's early October schedule concerns. 65 years ago, Roger Maris belted his 47 and 48 homers against White Sox starter Billy Pierce, while Mickey Mantle, sitting on deck with 45, chased Babe Ruth's single-season mark. The Southsiders, then sitting at 57-58, felt the pressure to even the ledger. Clay Holmes entered the weekend after the deadline trade with a stronger showing than expected, acknowledging his mixed recent stats but emphasizing continual improvement. His confidence could solidify the Cubs' late-season bullpen, giving manager a reliable arm as Chicago chases a postseason push. David Sandlin sparked a promising outing for the Charlotte Knights, who sit at 22-22 in the second half, 6 games back and tied for 6th in the 10-team International League East. While not leading the pack, they remain in contention for a postseason berth. The Knoxville Smokies surged past the Trash Pandas, 4-1, highlighted by Andy Garriola's 2-run blast. Meanwhile, the Iowa Cubs endured a doubleheader sweep by the St. Paul Saints, with Grant Kipp delivering 3 clean innings before issuing 3 walks, underscoring the need for depth. Top prospect Joshua Baez exploded in his MLB debut at Wrigley, launching 3 homers in his first 3 plate appearances, a first in baseball history. His power surge helped the Cardinals to an 8-4 victory, while Matthew Boyd should regroup as Chicago looks to tighten its rotation. Stay tuned. The chase continues as Chicago teams eye the postseason.
Thanks, Theo. Original Rainbow Cone in Beverly marks a century of sweet Chicago history. This Sunday, the shop opened its doors for a festive anniversary celebration, complete with a ribbon cutting, live music, and a limited edition swirl of the classic 5-flavor cone. For 100 years, the family-run shop has handcrafted the iconic rainbow-layered ice cream that generations of Southside families have grown up with, and the event drew longtime fans and curious newcomers alike. The celebration isn't just about dessert. It underscores how a small, locally owned shop can anchor a neighborhood, drawing neighbors together over a shared treat. In a city of towering skylines, Original Rainbow Cone reminds us that the real flavor of Chicago lives in its neighborhoods. We'll bring you details on the 4 injured in the Chicago sidewalk shooting and the smoke-filled traffic jam in the Loop. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. Police say an unknown vehicle stopped on the sidewalk of the 8500 block of South Sangamon Street, opening fire and wounding 4 pedestrians, 2 critically. Grady Sokolowski has the full story.
At about 7:17 p.m. on August 15th, officers responded to the 8500 block of South Sangamon Street after a vehicle pulled onto the sidewalk and opened fire. 4 pedestrians were hit: a 43-year-old man, a 34-year-old man, a 32-year-old woman, and an unidentified male. The police said 2 of the victims remain in critical condition, while the other 2 were treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Emergency crews transported the wounded to area hospitals. Detectives are canvassing the scene and reviewing surveillance footage as they search for the driver and any accomplices. The Chicago Police Department confirmed the investigation is active and asked anyone with video or who heard the shots to preserve it for investigators. No arrests have been made at this time. Grady Sokolowski, GMNA News, Gresham.
Saturday, August 15, a boom and smoke rolled through the Chicago Loop, prompting an emergency response that slowed traffic between East Lake Street and Wacker Drive and between North Michigan Avenue and Columbus Drive. Grady Sokolowski has the full story.
At about 7 p.m. Saturday, a sudden boom reverberated through the Chicago Loop, followed by thick smoke that rolled across the streets. First responders swarmed the area, setting up a large emergency operation that quickly clogged the downtown grid. Visibility dropped to near zero between East Lake Street and Wacker Drive, and again along North Michigan Avenue near Columbus Drive, forcing drivers to slow and creating a bottleneck that stretched for several blocks. Police directed traffic and rerouted buses while fire crews worked to locate the source of the blast and clear the haze. Commuters reported long wait times and honking horns as the jam held up the evening rush. Grady Sokolowski, GMNA News, Loop.
Thank you, Chicago, for joining us tonight. From the air and water show's cloud-delayed start to the city's resilient spirit, we've covered a lot. I'm Rosalind Carney, and we'll be back tomorrow with more stories that matter to you. Stay safe and see you then.